The Machiavellian Guide, 7 Rules Society uses to keep you weak. The world doesn't reward honesty. It rewards strategy. No matter how inherently kind you are, someone will use it against you. No matter how patient you are, someone less deserving will take what's yours. That's not injustice. That's design. Society was never built to make you powerful. It was built to make you predictable. From the moment you were born, you were trained to follow invisible rules. Be nice, be humble, be loyal, be patient, be honest. Be like everyone else. They call it morality, but it is fundamentally control. Because the more rules you follow, the easier you are to rule. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago. He understood that the system doesn't just fail the good man, it actively uses him. The truth is simple, but brutal. If you want freedom, you must unlearn what they taught you. You must break the rules they worship. Today we expose the 7 rules of society you must never follow. The ones that keep you weak, broke, and obedient, and the truths that will make you untouchable. Remember, this is not about destruction. It's about defense and clarity. Because once you see these rules for what they are, you'll never go back to the man you were before. Rule 1. Always tell the truth. That's what they hammered into you. Honesty makes you pure. Transparency builds trust. The truth will set you free. But that's not what happens in the arena of reality, is it? Tell the wrong person your truth, and they'll weaponize it. Tell your truth too early, and they'll steal your idea. Tell your truth too often, and you'll simply give away your power. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He wrote that a successful ruler must learn to disguise his intentions because men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. They see what you show them, not who you really are. Society glorifies honesty because it keeps people predictable. When everyone reveals everything, the system remains safe. No surprises, no threats, no power shifts. That's why the world loves transparency. It's control disguised as virtue. Radical honesty sounds noble, but in practice, it's naive. It's an open book handed to a thief. The truth is not sacred, it is strategic, and power belongs to those who know when to reveal it and when to withhold it. There are 3 kinds of honesty. 1. Moral honesty, which makes you feel good. 2. Social honesty, which makes you look good. 3. Strategic honesty, which makes you powerful. Most people live in the first 2, telling the truth out of habit, emotion, or guilt. They think honesty is purity, but in the game of power, honesty is timing. Look at the world's most influential people, negotiators, military strategists, CEOs. They don't lie recklessly. They simply reveal what benefits them and nothing more. That's not deception. That's discipline. Here's what society never tells you. Information is currency, and every time you speak, you spend it. So the next time you feel the urge to be transparent, ask yourself, who benefits from this truth? Me or them? Because when honesty serves others more than it serves you, it becomes self-betrayal. The wise speak truth like a blade, sharp, deliberate, and controlled. They cut only when necessary. The weak, however, speak truth like water, constantly spilling, hoping to be liked for their openness. But the more they speak, the more they're understood. And the more they're understood, the easier they are to manipulate. Authenticity isn't about revealing everything. It's about revealing what's necessary and hiding what's strategic. The powerful man is not dishonest, he's disciplined with truth. He knows when silence is stronger than confession, when a half-truth protects more than a full explanation, and when mystery commands more respect than honesty ever could. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." That was survival. Control what they see, reveal what strengthens your position, Hide what exposes your weakness, because if they can read you completely, they can control you completely. The rule to break: honesty without boundaries is self-destruction. Bounded honesty is power. Be truthful, but never transparent. Rule 2: always blend in. From the moment you were born, they've been teaching you how to disappear. Be normal, blend in, don't stand out. They don't call it submission, they call it belonging. They make you believe that fitting in means safety. But safety is just another word for invisibility. Society praises conformity because it keeps order. But order isn't freedom. Order is control disguised as peace. You are rewarded for obedience, for following trends, opinions, and values that are not yours. They give you social acceptance as a leash, and you wear it proudly because everyone else does too. The system doesn't want thinkers, it wants mirrors. People who reflect whatever they're told, never questioning who's holding the light. Machiavelli understood that societies maintain stability by suppressing difference. A man who thinks for himself threatens the structure. A man who obeys keeps it alive. That's why conformity is celebrated. It's not morality, it's maintenance. Look around you. Every generation repeats the same patterns, the same goals, the same fears, programmed by the same culture that profits from them. People don't think, they imitate. And when they see someone who refuses to conform, someone who walks alone or speaks differently, they don't admire him, they attack him. Because nothing threatens a conformist more than someone who doesn't need the crowd. Machiavelli would tell you, the one who stands apart commands the crowd. The one who joins it disappears inside it. You must never fear being the outsider. Fear instead becoming ordinary. Because the world never remembers those who fit in, only those who break the pattern. Power begins with difference. Every movement, every idea, every revolution started with someone who didn't fit in. They were ridiculed first, feared next, then followed. Because society always mocks what it secretly admires: independence. To be original is to be misunderstood. To be strong is to be hated before you are respected. And to be truly free is to accept that most people will never understand you. And that's okay, because your goal is not to fit in. It's to stand out so completely that others must adjust to your gravity. The rule to break: conformity may buy you temporary peace, but individuality earns you eternal respect. Stop bending your edges just to fit into a shape they find comfortable. The crowd fears the one who walks alone because he cannot be influenced. Rule 3: always be humble. They tell you to be humble, to stay grounded, to never make too much noise about your success. They say it's a virtue, but it's really a strategy of control. Humility sounds noble, but for most people it's not strength. It's fear disguised as virtue. The world praises humility because it keeps powerful people silent. Because when you hide your strength, you make others feel comfortable in their weakness. And that's exactly what society wants: comfort, not excellence. The moment you start rising, they say, don't get arrogant. The moment you start winning, they say, stay humble. They are not protecting your soul. They are protecting their egos, because your confidence reminds them of everything they could have been but weren't. Machiavelli understood the danger of appearing too powerful. He wrote that a prince should appear merciful, faithful, humane, and religious, but only appear so, because too much genuine humility invites predators. Humility is useful camouflage. It disarms envy. It hides ambition. It keeps enemies asleep. But humility as a lifestyle, that's how lions starve, pretending to be sheep. There's a crucial difference between arrogance and awareness of power. Arrogance screams. Awareness observes. Arrogance demands attention. Awareness commands it without trying. The aware man owns the spotlight when it shines on him, then steps back into the shadows when he's done. That's control. That's Machiavellian discipline, appearance, not surrender. In business, the humble worker never asks for more, so he's forgotten. The confident one makes his value visible, so he's promoted. In life, humility without power doesn't inspire people, it invites exploitation. Because when you always bow your head, someone eventually steps on it. True humility is not silence, it's strategic silence. It's the ability to appear harmless while remaining completely capable of harm. The Machiavellian principle: be humble in manner, powerful in essence. A lion doesn't roar all day to prove it's a lion. It moves silently until it's time to strike. You must carry that same energy. The rule to break: false humility keeps you small. Strategic humility keeps you safe. Never suppress your power. Discipline it. Let the world underestimate you. Then, when the moment demands it, show them what humility was hiding all along. Rule 4. Be nice to everyone. You've heard it since childhood. Be nice to everyone. Don't offend. Keep the peace. But here's the truth. The man who tries to please everyone eventually pleases no one. Unconditional niceness is not virtue, it's control. Society preaches it because it keeps people tame. A nice man is predictable, safe, and easy to ignore. He won't challenge authority. He won't say no. He'll swallow his anger and call it maturity. That's exactly what they want. Because once you fear being disliked, you become a puppet. You'll compromise your truth just to keep harmony. You'll hand over your strength in exchange for approval. Niceness, when used as a constant state, destroys power. It erases respect. The same people who tell you to be nice will secretly admire those who aren't. They'll criticize the assertive, but they'll obey them. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must learn how not to be good and use goodness only when it serves his purpose. He wasn't celebrating cruelty. He was warning against blindness. To survive, you must understand when kindness is strategic and when it's suicide. The strongest people you know aren't cruel, but they are selective. Their kindness is earned, not automatic. Their forgiveness has a cost. Their respect must be reciprocated. They understand that goodness, when constant, becomes weakness, and that fear, when measured, earns more loyalty than endless niceness ever will. If you must choose, Machiavelli advised, it's better to be respected than liked, because respect endures, liking fades. People admire the kind, but they obey the strong. When you're too nice, you tell the world that your comfort matters more than your boundaries, that your peace matters more than your self-respect. And that's why people cross lines with you, because you taught them it was safe to. True power is quiet confidence. It's kindness with limits. It's calm with claws. You don't need to be aggressive. You need to be so grounded in your values that no one can guilt you into breaking them. The rule to break: unconditional kindness is a leash. Strategic kindness is a weapon. Be polite when it serves your purpose. Be cold when it protects your peace. Because if you're always nice, you'll become invisible. Rule 5. Be patient. Your time will come. They tell you to be patient, to wait for your time, to trust that good things come to those who wait. But that's not wisdom. That's sedation. Because patience, when preached by the powerful, is not advice. It's containment. It's how society teaches lions to wait for permission before hunting. It's how potential is turned into obedience. Be patient. You've heard it 1,000 times. When your ideas are ignored, when your talent is overlooked, when your voice is silenced. They say it to keep you calm, to make you believe that waiting is virtue and that ambition is arrogance. But look closely. Those who tell you to be patient are never the ones waiting. They're the ones already sitting where you're trying to go. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, not the hesitant. That great power is never given, it's taken. Patience, when used without strategy, is not strength, it's stagnation. Because while you're waiting for your time to come, someone else is taking it. The world doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who move while others are waiting. The ambitious always strike before the crowd realizes it's time. They act when the opportunity still looks like chaos. Patience is only powerful when it's active, when it's used to observe, prepare, and plan your strike. But once it turns passive, it becomes poison. Waiting without intention is surrender. The daring man moves. He makes mistakes, yes, but he adjusts, adapts, learns. And while the patient man dreams, the daring man builds. That's the difference between the ambitious and the obedient. Patience is not about waiting for the right moment. It's about making the moment right. The wise man waits with purpose. He studies quietly. He gathers information, resources, and leverage. Then, when the time aligns, he acts ruthlessly fast. That's precision. The rule to break. Patience is not a virtue, it's a strategy. Stop confusing stillness with strategy. Your time doesn't come. It's created, claimed, and defended. Act before the crowd wakes up, because the world doesn't care who deserves power. It only cares who takes it. Rule 6. Loyalty is everything. They told you that loyalty is everything, that good people never switch sides, that betrayal is the ultimate sin. It sounds noble, but it's a trap, because blind loyalty doesn't make you virtuous, it makes you vulnerable. Society praises loyalty because it keeps the system stable. The loyal employee never questions the boss. The loyal citizen never challenges authority. The loyal friend never walks away, even when the friendship turns poisonous. Machiavelli knew the truth. Loyalty without self-interest is slavery. Loyalty has two sides. One is strength, the other is submission. When loyalty is chosen, it creates alliance. But when it's demanded, it becomes control. When someone says be loyal, what they really mean is be loyal to me, to their interests, their narrative, their control. And when you finally question them, they'll weaponize your integrity by calling you ungrateful, disloyal, a traitor. That's how the system protects itself. Machiavelli observed that most alliances are not built on honor, they're built on advantage. He advised leaders to never depend on emotion-based loyalty, but to control loyalty, not trust it. Because loyalty built on emotion dies when pressure rises. But loyalty built on mutual interest survives every storm. Understand this law. You owe loyalty only to what protects your purpose. If a job no longer respects you, you don't owe it your years. If a relationship no longer honors you, you don't owe it your silence. Leaving these situations isn't betrayal, it's clarity. The naive man believes loyalty is moral. The wise man knows loyalty is transactional, not in a cold, selfish way, but in a realistic one. Every relationship is an exchange of value. When that exchange becomes one-sided, loyalty turns into a leash. The powerful cut it, the powerless worship it. True loyalty is conditional. Conditional on respect, conditional on reciprocity, conditional on truth. You can be loyal to your family, but still refuse to inherit their limitations. You can be loyal to your work, but still demand the respect you deserve. The rule to break. Loyalty is powerful only when it's conditional. Never give anyone the ability to destroy you in the name of loyalty. Be loyal to principles, not personalities, to purpose, not promises. And when you give loyalty, give it like a loan, not a gift. Rule 7. Chase happiness. They tell you life is about being happy, that your purpose is to find joy, that success means smiling all the time. It sounds beautiful, but it's a lie, the most seductive one ever told. Because when the world tells you to chase happiness, what it's really saying is, stop chasing power. Society glorifies happiness because it keeps you harmless. Happy people don't question, they don't rebel, they consume, they obey, they smile, and they stay quiet. That's why comfort is sold as the highest goal, because comfort kills curiosity. It kills ambition. It kills the hunger that builds empires. The pursuit of happiness is the perfect prison. You decorate your cell with luxuries, call it peace, and never notice the bars. Machiavelli understood that the greatest minds rarely live in happiness. They live in clarity. He wrote that men are driven by either fear or ambition, and that both create tension, conflict, and struggle. But that struggle is what keeps a man alive. Real growth feels nothing like happiness. It feels like resistance. It feels like uncertainty. It feels like chaos testing your limits. But that's what evolution is, the constant destruction of your old self. The strong understand this law. Happiness is a byproduct, not a destination. You chase meaning, you chase mastery, you chase truth. And in those rare moments when everything aligns, you taste happiness as a reward, not as a right. Society will tell you you're wrong for thinking this way. They'll call you cold, because they need you to believe that comfort is success, so you never question why you're still unfulfilled. Machiavelli's whisper: the goal is not to be happy, it's to be free. And freedom demands sacrifice, pain, solitude, and power over your own emotions. The rule to break: happiness is the bait, purpose is the hook. Stop chasing happiness, start measuring your life by how much you've grown, endured, and built. Because when you stop needing to be happy, you become unstoppable. You've now learned the 7 rules society uses to keep you obedient, and the 7 truths Machiavelli would use to set you free. These lessons aren't about cruelty. They're about clarity. They're not about dominating others. They're about refusing to be dominated by illusion. You were never meant to live by their rules. You were meant to understand them, outthink them, and rewrite them. Welcome to the inner circle, where power is no longer something you chase, it's something you become.